everybody, welcome to another mixed media project video. I bought this deep box frame from Hobbycraft here in the UK, and it's the wooden one. Usually before, I have not seen the wooden ones before. I've only ever seen them either white or black, and I thought the wood one will be really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using the Birds and Blossom collection by Sue Baker Presents. I'm going to be using the Cadence and Starlight and other products, and I'm going to do a nice birdie scene. I've already put this rice paper onto a piece of card, and that is going to be my background, and cut out, I've used the dies from that collection as well, and I'm going to be painting and whatever. So I'm going to turn you to overhead and we'll make a start. Okay, so the first thing I've done is I've taken this apart, and what I'm going to do is I've taken the glass out. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to be using excuse me, I'm going to be using the Cadence hybrid paints, and I'm going to use the crackle glaze. So I've got the brown, which is going to be the base coat, and then I'm going to do a layer of the crackle, and then I'm going to use the champagne. So I've got warm brown, champagne and the glaze, and that is the first step that I'm going to do. So I need a brush, and I need this, and I'm just going to paint. So first I'm just going to paint this brown because I'm going to leave this brown, and so when it's inside it'll just you'll just see the inside. So we'll really only need to paint the inside of this. So and it goes on really nice, and I only need one coat because it's such a good acrylic paint. It is the best acrylic paint I've used in a long time, and I'm only going to paint the inside of this just on its own brown. I'm not going to crackle the inside of this because I want to make the inside kind of, you know, just so it's like I know what I'm trying to say, but I can't say, I'm not saying it very well, am I? And as you can see, it goes a long way, this paint. So I'll do this, and then what I'll do is I'll go away and paint the frame, because obviously you don't want to sit there and watch me paint a frame. You've seen me do the inside of the, so as you can see it's a nice warm brown. So I'll pop that to one side, let that dry, and I'll go away and I'll come back when I've painted all this frame. Okay, so the frame is all now nicely painted. So the next step I want to do is I want to add the crackle, and I'm just going to add the crackle. Just put it on. As I said, I'm not doing the inside, I'm just adding it to the outside of the frame. And what I'll do is I'll leave this to dry, and then I'm going to start painting my die cuts. So that's that done, and I'll just add a little bit to the sides as well, not doing much to the sides, but at least I'll get a little bit of crackle on the sides. So just working my way round. There we go. Excuse me. So just working the crackle in. Some are going to be, I'll get big and little cracks, so we'll just see how it goes. And now I'm just going to leave that to actually dry now. So I'll pop that to one side, clean my brush. Right, okay, so I've got my palette, and what I've done, oh shoot, just got hold of the frame when I shouldn't have done. Damn, never mind. Right, okay, so I've cut the piece of rice paper on card, and I've cut it to the same dimension as the backboard, and this is what I'm going to be working on. Now I need to remember that I've got to give it, I can't put anything kind of decoupage between there, so I need to leave it at least half a centimetre gap around it all, and I have painted the back as well of the build, so that can go there. Now what I've done is I've actually die cut the bed frame. I need to cut that off. So I've die cut the bed frame, I've die cut the word happiness, which I'm going to decoupage up and put on top of one another just to give it, and I'm going to have happiness there, and then I'm hoping that will fit in there like that. And I can what I can do, I can bring the board in just to make sure that, you know, it's within, so I can use this as a reference. Or I could put it to one side and have happiness down this side, so that butterfly is showing. I'm going to double strength that one and sit them one on top of the other. And then what I've done, I've die cut out, and I'm going to decoupage the other pieces. So I've got the leaves and that, so I can use that as a guide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint this. I'm going to paint them all, but first off I'm going to glue them together so that they're nicely stuck together. And then I've got the bed, and I'll and that, so I can decoupage everything up. And I'm going to do a little bit of stenciling on the back first, and I'm going to use some brown wax, or gold wax actually. I might use some gold wax, and I want to decoupage some, not decoupage, add some script to the rice paper. So first off, let's glue these together first. I'll keep that to one side for now. And what I'm going to do is get some wax. I've got some black wax there. Want black, did I? I'm going to go with gold. Am I going to go with gold? Well, I've got a nice copper there. I might use the copper instead of the black, just for something different. And because, sorry about the noise, just because I can, in other words. So what I'm going to do is just pop them out the way for now. And get that. I've got a little stickle brush, which is nice and dry. So I'm going to take some off. And I'm just going to stickle some of the text on here. Then I've just stippled it, but then I'm just swirling my stipple brush around just so I can. There we go. We'll have a little bit down here. Don't want much, I just want to. There we go, just a little bit, but again it's adding layers, isn't it? So I'll put that in there to wash. Put that there. And that can go to one side for now. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave this now and let this dry. It there, and then I'm going to glue these together, but I need to get my knife. I need to just work my way around. That little bit hasn't caught it. Right, hold on, I need a glass mat so I can cut, because obviously I don't want to cut my thingy out. There we go. Right, that's all done now. So I'm going to glue that on top of there. Use my so that goes on there, right, okay. And all I'm doing is just giving this a good layer of the Magibond, so I know that it'll stick. Oops, there's something not come out there. That's it. Oops. And no, that is not going to go there. There we go. Right, now make sure I've got everything off this, and it's just a case now of lining it up. Line everything up, just bear with, something else not come out. So just lining everything up, making sure everything's lined up. That's it. There we go. And I've not I did put the glue on the tail, but I took it off because I want that extra. So when I put this on, I'll have some extra depth, dimension to it. So that's that glued together nicely. And that is something I want to paint. And I've got to paint all of these, but I want to do this now. Just make sure I grab everything. So the colours I've chosen, I'm going to be using some of the Twin Magic paints and some other, some Starlights and that. So if I do that like that, and then I can position this on here quite nicely, making sure that'll line them up nicely. So the one on top of that, and I kind of like to do this with my words, either two layers or three, depending on what project I'm doing. But for this, I think 2 layers is enough. There we are. So they're all nicely married up. There we go. So I've got happiness, and so the colours I've chosen. I've got the Dora Cadence Brilliant Gold. I've got Twin Magic, which is gold rose. I've got Blue Peach. I've got Pink Sunset, and I've got green. And I've got my palette here. And I'm going to start painting everything. Now the word I'm going to paint in gold. So I'm just going to put some of that into my palette and just paint over the white. I just thought it would pop on the inside the frame. So while I'm painting these, as I use each colour on the different areas, I will hold the pot up so you can see which colour I'm using. And I'll play some music and fast forward. So the last thing I want to paint, so that's the bird cage. I'll lift it up. And I've got this little butterfly that I'm going to paint, and I think I'm going to paint it pink. So I'm using the Pink Sunset. I'm just going to give it a quick paint, and then that's done. There we go. So I'll just put that on there, leave that there. And they can all go away. I've finished with them now. Right, okay, so what I want to do now, I'm going to bring the frame in. So I'll leave them there. I don't want to lose them. So I'll leave them there. Bring the frame in and get to see, hopefully the crackle's dried, which it has done. Now, using the crackle, when you put your base layer, so I've done the brown and I've painted it one way. I've done the crackle. Now, for the top layer, I have to, so if I've gone left to right on the base layer, on the following layer I've got to do up and down so that it'll crackle. And I'm using the Champagne, which is a metallic hybrid from Cadence. So I'm going to need a bit of that, and make sure my brush is dry. And all I'm going to do is just okay. So what I've realised, silly me, is that because I've used a metallic, it won't crackle. I've got a little bit of crackle, but not much. And as I've dried it, it's bubbled. So what I'm going to do is, I mean, you learn by this, I'm just going to go over, sand it, give it a bit of a sanding, but it looks quite rustic. I quite like and even round the sides, so all I'm going to do is just sand, just give it a sand round. quite like that effect actually. Silly me, I'll know in future. Don't use metallic or starlights with crackle. Oh dear, never mind. But I quite like the different effect I've got. You know, with the paintbrush, the brush strokes. Looks quite thingy. So what I'm going to do is, I'm actually going to dry brush on some of the copper. Let me get a nice brush. Take some out. And I'm just going to I'm not kind of going to flood it with copper. I just want that sheen. Because I've got copper in the on the inside of the frame. I hope you can see the copper if I just tilt it. Just one more edge to do. With the strokes of the brush with the champagne metallic paint, the copper has just hit it, so I'm quite pleased with that. So I'm just going to go around the sides just very quickly, just so it all ties in then. The texture from the paint underneath is kind of as I'm dry brushing over the copper is enhancing the texture underneath with the metallic paint. I'm just making sure I've got all the edges, and I think I've done it all now. Yep, there we are. I'm quite liking that effect, and you can still see the brown underneath. I quite like that. I'm happy with that. Didn't turn out quite the way I expected it, but happy accidents and all that. You learn by your mistakes, don't you? So I'm just going to freshen this up, and I can start putting my canvas together now. There we go. Right, okay. So the first thing I want to do is, oh, for goodness sake, right, so the first thing I want to do is glue this to here, and I'm going to use I'm going to use my fabric glue, I think. Got too much out, so I can put it back in the pot. That'll do. I'm trying not to leave my brushes in the don't want to leave my brushes inside in the water, because I can't tell you how many paintbrushes I lost last year through leaving them in the water. Right, so now tin upside down, and there we go. There we go. Now I'm going to use some of the Magibond to stick this onto here. Right, okay, so before I do that, I need to put this in here, because obviously I don't want it to there we go. Here we go. And I want to put happiness, again using that as a guide. I can put happiness there. Whoops. All I've got to do now is just decoupage these, and I'm going to use some. I think I'm actually going to use some foam pads. Let's see. Oh, yeah, I'm going to use some foam pads. And I want one of them under there like that to bring that up. There we go. There we go. I'm just building up the layers using foam pads just to give it a bit of dimension. Okay, so we'll have that one there, we'll have that one on there. Oops. I'll just move that off for now while I just get this done. Oops. Now one of these, I'll go there like that. Oops. Not everything is not everything is layered, so which is good. And another leaf. How does that? Oh, that goes there. Oh no, it doesn't. It doesn't, but I'm going to put it there because it kind of just add a little bit. No, it doesn't look right. Don't look right. I gotta remember where it goes now. That's it, it goes there. There we go. And then the last thing I want to add is my little butterfly. I'm just going to add a little dot of well, I think I'll have that on happiness. Pop that on happiness. There we go. And all that's left for me to do is put it together. So we'll have the glass, which I'll give it a polish first, I think. So that's that. And we'll put that in there. So that keeps the glass in place. Then I can put, it's a good job, isn't it? It's a good job I've not done it upside down, isn't it? My goodness me, that would have been a catastrophe. And that is my happiness box frame. I really like that. I enjoy doing that. Sometimes it's just nice to do a little bit of something a little bit different. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I've enjoyed making it. And don't forget to leave a comment. And if you're a new subscriber, welcome. Don't forget to click the bell icon, drop down menu will come down, click all, and then whenever my videos go live you'll get notification. Happy crafting everybody, see you all again real soon. Bye bye for now.